Why are you playing with her? Tafa's mother asked, pointing at Ladi. Don't you know she's an Osu? Tafa looked at Ladi, then looked at his mother. But Mama, Ladi is my friend, she said softly.
No, she's not, his mother replied sharply. You must never play with her again. Do you understand? Once upon a time, in a small village in Nigeria, there lived a young lady named Ladi. Ladi was beautiful, kind, and always helped everyone in her village. But she had one big problem. She was an Osu. In her village, being an Osu meant being an outcast. Many people did not want to be friends with her, and some were even afraid to talk to her. Ladi's heart was full of sadness because she had suffered many heartbreaks. She remembered the time when she was just a little girl and she had her first friend, a boy named Tafa. They used to play together every day, running through the fields, climbing trees, and splashing in the river. Ladi felt so happy when she was with Tafa, and she thought their friendship would last forever. One sunny afternoon, Ladi and Tafa were playing together near Tafa's house.
They were laughing and chasing each other when Tafa's mother came out. She saw them and frowned. Tafa, come here right now, she called sternly. Tafa obeyed, looking confused. Why are you playing with her? Tafa's mother asked, pointing at Ladi. Don't you know she's an Osu? Tafa looked at Ladi, then looked at his mother. But Mama, Ladi is my friend, she said softly.
No, she's not, his mother replied sharply. You must never play with her again. Do you understand? Tafa nodded slowly. He turned to Ladi and whispered, I am sorry, Ladi. Then he walked away, leaving Ladi standing there, heartbroken. Ladi cried and cried, feeling her heart break for the first time. From that day, Tafa avoided Ladi. She would see him playing with other children, but he never looked at her again. She felt so alone and wondered why being an Osu meant she couldn't have friends. Years passed, and Ladi grew up into a lovely young woman. She tried to be happy, even when she still felt the pain of losing Tafa's friendship. She helped her family with chores, tended to her garden, and always wore a bright smile. But deep down, Ladi longed for a true friend, someone who would not care about the Osu tradition. One day, while fetching water from the river, Ladi met a boy named Ayofa. Ayofa was kind and did not seem to care about the Osu tradition. They would sit by the river, talking and laughing for hours. One afternoon, Ayofa and Ladi were sitting under a big tree near the river. Ladi, you're the best friend I've ever had, Ayofa said with a smile. I don't care what anyone says about the Osu. You are amazing just the way you are. Ladi's heart swelled with joy. Ayofa made Ladi feel special, and she started to believe she could be happy again. She felt like she had found a true friend at last. But one day, Ayofa's father found out about their friendship. He was very angry and told Ayofa he must never see Ladi again. Ayofa, you must understand, his father said sternly. You cannot be friends with an Osu. It will bring shame to our family. Ayofa was sad but obeyed his father. He, he stopped meeting Ladi by the river and avoided her whenever he saw her in the village. Ladi's heart was broken once more. and she cried herself to sleep every night. She wondered if she would ever find someone who would truly care for her. Another time, Ladi met a gentleman named Kajo. He was new to the village and did not know about the Osu tradition. They became close, and Ladi started to believe that she could be happy. Kajo was different from the others. He was thoughtful and always listened to her. Ladi's heart began to heal, and she felt hopeful for the future. One evening, Kajo invited Ladi to a village dance. Ladi wore her best dress and felt beautiful and excited. As they danced under the moonlight, Ladi felt like she was in a dream. "Thank you, Kajo, for making me feel so special," she whispered. "You're special, Ladi," Kajo replied, holding her close. But when Kajo's friends discovered she was an Osun, they told him to stay away from her. "Kajo, you cannot be with her," one of his friends said. "She's an Osun. It will ruin your reputation." Kajo, afraid of losing his friends, stopped talking to Ladi. Once again, Ladi's heart shattered. She felt the heavy weight of rejection and wondered if she would ever find someone who would truly love her. She began to lose hope and stopped trying to make friends or find love. She spent her days alone, tending to her garden and helping her family. Her heart was full of sadness, and she wondered if she would ever find happiness. One day, a new family moved to the village. They had a son named Doshima. Doshima was strong, brave, and had a big heart. He noticed Ladi working in her garden and admired her hard work and kindness. He decided to introduce himself. "Hello, my name is Doshima. I've just moved here. Can I help you with your garden?" he asked with a warm smile. Ladi was surprised. No one had spoken to her like this for a long time. She was afraid to get her hopes up, but decided to give it a chance. "Hello, Doshima. My name is Ladi." "Yes, I would like that," she said with a smile. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Ladi and Dashima became friends. They spent a lot of time together, sharing stories, dreams, and even their fears. Ladi felt her heart healing, but she was still scared. She feared that Dashima would live like others when he found out she was an Osun. One day, Ladi decided to tell Dashima the truth. They were sitting under a big tree when she took a deep breath and said, "Dashima, there's something you should know about me. I'm an Osun." Dashima looked at her with kind eyes and said, "Ladi, I know. I have known since the day we met. It does not matter to me. You're my friend, and I care about you." Tears filled Ladi's eyes. She could not believe what she was hearing. "You mean you don't care that I'm an Osun?" "No, Ladi, I don't care. What matters to me is your heart, your kindness, and the person you are. I will always be your friend, no matter what," Doshima replied. As months went by, Ladi and Doshima's friendship grew deeper. Doshima admired Ladi's resilience and kindness, while Ladi cherished Doshima's strength and loyalty. They often met in secret, away from the prying eyes of the villagers. They shared their dreams, hopes, and fears, finding comfort in each other's company. One evening, Doshima took Ladi to a quiet spot by the river. The setting sun cast a golden glow over the water, creating a magical atmosphere. Doshima held Ladi's hands and said, Laddie, I love you. You are the most wonderful person I've ever met. Will you be my wife? Laddie's heart soared with joy, but she felt a pang of fear. She knew the villagers and Doshima's family would never accept their love. Doshima, I love you too. But what about your family? What about the villagers? They will never accept me, she said, her voice trembling. Let's not worry about that now, Doshima said gently. We will face it together. Our love is stronger than any tradition or prejudice. Will you marry me, Laddie? Laddie nodded, tears of happiness streaming down her face. Yes, Doshima, I will marry you, she whispered. When Doshima's parents heard about his intention to marry Laddie, they were furious. Doshima, you cannot marry an Osu, his father said sternly. It will bring shame to our family. Father, Laddie is a kind and wonderful person. She doesn't deserve to be treated this way. I love her and I want to marry her, Doshima replied firmly. No, Doshima, his mother said, her voice cold. You will not marry her. We forbid it. The villagers too were outraged. They whispered and gossiped, casting angry glances at Laddie whenever she passed by. Some people even started to shun her family, refusing to do business with them or help them with their house chores. Despite the hostility, Doshima stood by Laddie's side. He visited her every day, comforting her and assuring her of his love. Laddie, we will get through this, he said one evening. I promise you, we will be together no matter what. Life became increasingly difficult for Laddie. The villagers' mistreatment grew worse. They would throw stones at her house, shout insults, and refuse to buy the vegetables she grew. Laddie's family struggles to make ends meet, and the weight of the village's disdain became unbearable. Laddie tried to stay strong, but every day was a battle. Doshima's parents continued to pressure him to abandon Laddie. His father even arranged for him to meet another young woman from a respected family, hoping he would forget about Laddie. But Doshima's heart belonged to Laddie, and he refused to be swayed. One day, Doshima's mother confronted him. Doshima, you are bringing shame to our family. Why do you persist in this foolishness? Find someone else, someone who is not an Osu. Doshima looked at his mother, his eyes full of determination. Mother, I love Laddie. I will not abandon her. I'm willing to face any consequences for our love. If you cannot accept her, then do not accept me. Doshima's mother was taken aback by his words. She saw the resolve in his eyes and realized that nothing she said would change his mind. She sighed deeply, feeling a mix of frustration and sadness. Despite the continued harassment, Laddie and Doshima's love grew stronger. They supported each other through the tough times, finding solace in each other's arms. Doshima often told Laddie stories to lift her spirits and remind her of their dreams for the future. One evening, as they sat by the river, Laddie spoke softly. Doshima, I don't know how much more I can take. The villagers' hatred is too much. Maybe it's best if we part ways. Doshima held her close and whispered, Laddie, we have come this far together. We cannot give up now. I promise you, things will get better. We will find a way to be happy. Encouraged by Doshima's unwavering love, Laddie decided to keep fighting. She continued to work hard in her garden and remained kind to those who treated her poorly.
hoping to change their hearts. One day, a traveling merchant named Kato visited the village. He heard about Osu tradition and the treatment of Ladi. Kato was a wise man who had seen many places and people. He decided to speak to the village chief. Chief, I have traveled far and wide, and I've seen the pain caused by such traditions, Kato said. Ladi is a good person. It is unjust to treat her this way. Love should not be bound by such prejudice. Kato's words struck a chord with him. He had seen Ladi's kindness and resilience and began to question the village's long-held beliefs. After much contemplation, the chief decided to call for a village meeting. The entire village gathered in the central square, curious about what the chief had to say. Ladi stood with her family, nervous but hopeful. Doshima stood by her side, holding her hands tightly. People of the village, the chief began. We have followed the Osu tradition for many years, but today I ask you to consider the harm it has caused. Ladi is one of us. She has shown nothing but kindness and strength, despite our mistreatment. There was a murmur among the villagers. Some nodded in agreement, while others looked skeptical. The chief continued. Kato, a wise traveler, has opened my eyes. Love and kindness should guide us, not outdated traditions. Kato stepped forward and shared stories of other places where similar practices had been abolished, leading to more harmonious communities. His words resonated with many villages who began to see the unfairness of their ways. At the meeting, a few brave villagers approached Ladi and Doshima. We are sorry for the way we treated you, one of them said. We realize now that it was wrong. Ladi felt a glimmer of hope. She smiled and thanked them for their courage. Slowly, more villagers came forward, expressing their regrets and offering their support. Doshima's parents, seeing the change in the villagers' attitude, also began to soften. They saw how much their son loved Ladi and how much she had endured for their love. One evening, Doshima's father approached Ladi and said, Ladi, I was wrong. You have shown great strength and courage. I give you my blessings to marry my son. Tears filled Ladi's eyes as she hugged Doshima's father. The acceptance she had longed for was finally becoming a reality. With the village's acceptance, Ladi and Doshima were finally free to be together. They planned their wedding and the entire village came together to celebrate their love. The day of the wedding was filled with joy and laughter as the villagers danced and sang, embracing a new beginning. Ladi wore a beautiful dress, and Doshima looked dashing in his traditional attire. As they exchanged vows, they knew they had overcome many obstacles, but their love had prevailed. The village chief blessed their union, and Kato smiled, knowing he had helped bring about a positive change. Ladi and Doshima lived happily ever after. Years passed and the village continued to thrive. Ladi and Doshima's children grew up in a community that had become more accepting and kind. However, the Osu system still lingered in the minds of some older villages, a relic of the past that occasionally reared its ugly head. One day, the village received news that a new king was coming to the region. King Ochanya was known for his progressive ideas and desires to bring justice and equality to his subjects. The villagers were excited and curious about what changes he might bring. The day finally arrived, The village square was filled with people, eagerly awaiting for the new king's arrival. Ladi and Doshima stood together with their children, hopeful that King Ochanya would bring lasting change. The king arrived with a grand entourage. He was a tall, imposing figure with a kind face. As he addressed the villagers, his voice was strong and filled with conviction. People of this village, King Ochanya began, I am honored to be your new king. I have heard many stories about your community and the traditions that you hold dear. However, I also know that some traditions can cause harm and division. The villagers listened intently, sensing that something important was about to happen. King Ochanya continued, one such tradition is the Osu system. It has brought pain and suffering to many, and it's time for it to end. From this day forward, the Osu system is abolished. All the people, regardless of their backgrounds or heritage, are equal in the eyes of the kingdom. There was a moment of stunned silence. The villagers looked at each other, processing the king's words. Slowly, a sense of relief and joy began to spread through the crowd. Ladi and Doshima exchanged a hopeful glance. They had dreamed of this day but never thought it would come so soon. Ladi's heart swelled with gratitude and happiness. The king raised his hand to silence the murmurs. I understand the change can be difficult, but it is necessary for the growth and prosperity of our people. Together, we will build a future where everyone is treated with respect and dignity. After the king's decree, the village began to transform. The older villagers who had clung to the Osu tradition slowly began to accept the new reality. The younger generation, inspired by King Ochanya's words, embraced the change with open hearts. The village held a grand celebration to honor the king's decree and the new era of equality. There were dances, songs, and feasts that lasted for days. Ladi and Doshima were at the center of the festivities, their love story now a symbol of hope and resilience. During the celebration, King Ochanya approached Ladi and Doshima. I've heard much about your story, he said with a warm smile. Your love and courage have been an inspiration to many. I am grateful for your strength and your willingness to fight for what is right. Ladi felt tears of joy welling up in her eyes. Thank you, Your Majesty. You have always believed that love can conquer all. The king nodded, and it has. Your village is a testament to the power of love and acceptance. Together we will build a future where no one is judged by the past, but by the contents of their character. With the Osu system abolished, the villagers flourished even more. The children of Ladi and Doshima grew up in a world where they were free to love and be loved without fear of prejudice. They heard their parents' story many times and were proud of the legacy they carried. Ladi and Doshima continued to live their lives with joy and fulfillment, knowing that they had played a part in creating a better world for their children and grandchildren. They often visited the river where they had shared so many precious moments, now a symbol of their enduring love. As they sat by the river one evening, Doshima took Ladi's hand. We did it, Ladi. We changed the world. Ladi smiled, her heart full of love and contentment. Yes, Doshima, we did it. And it all started with a single act of love. The legacy of Doshima and Ladi's story continued to inspire the village for generations. Their courage, resilience, and unwavering belief in the power of love
created a world where everyone could live with dignity and respect. And so their story lived on, a shining example of how love can truly change the world.